Mesozoic, Duck for the young boy.
We're back, episode 13, Big Talk,
13.
in the park, again. How's it been going since last episode?
Been good, man. Even better. Things have been going better, realizing new things, excited, feeling good. How you feel?
Your mic flipped in. Feeling good, feeling energized after got a good amount of rest from yesterday after we played those games.
Tell them about yesterday's games.
It was intense. I hadn't played basketball like in 3 months or something like that. Then you told me to pulled up, kicked some ass. We both played like pretty good.
It took some time. It took 3 months for me to get him to play basketball again. He ended up busting my ass 3 times in a row. I won the first 2 games. He won the last 3 games.
Yeah.
It was a good workout.
I couldn't let you keep winning, man. Every time I'll be winning by a blowout, and then he'll catch up and still beat me. Like I'm like, what the hell? Nah, that's not fair.
Last game, you could tell he put on the nitrous oxide. Started violating. He didn't even let me come in.
I was dead, man. But I remember one game. It was like 9-2 or something like that. You had 2 and you caught up and you won. I'm like, nah, man. After that, I'm like, nah, I gotta start winning some games.
I had to hit you with that shit, but that I feel like that helped you pick it up and like, oh nah, like now I know what to do. And that for the last 3 games, you just went in. And I was tired too. We were both tired.
Nah, I felt like like I told you, like my chest was gonna like pop out of my lungs was like popping out of my chest. I'm like, wow, man. Like I hadn't felt like this in a while.
I wanna play again soon, man. I wanna make it a habit, like at least every few days, play ball. Because for me, I know is like I told you last episode, like it's a huge benefit for the body, for the mind. And like yesterday, the whole time we were playing, I'm thinking like, yo, there's like some fucking battle to the death, but like on some friendly shit. But it was like for your body, like for your body, it's like holy shit. Like how can I keep? There was times where like my whole world was spinning around, and I had to just like focus in and like try to play
crazy,
defense and try to score. It was
it's
dope.
It's a lot going on, and it's like I remember a few times I played with my watch. It just showed me like your heart rate is peaked. It peaks all the time, and it's like it's understandable because it's not like bicycling where like okay I go fast and I get tired. I'm like naturally I'm gonna want to rest and stuff and like chill out. But with basketball, it's like you got an opponent, so it's like whatever energy you giving, I gotta match your energy, and it's like
and sometimes give more just so you can score.
Yeah, right. And it's like
that's why I love basketball. Like, I feel like for me it's such a spiritual game. It's almost like, yesterday I was thinking like it's almost like physical chess.
That's true. Yeah,
like,
that's true.
But even then, like even if you're doing everything right, you can still fucking miss a shot. So it's like it's a little bit more than that. You have to really like give it your all. So I really enjoy it as like a test.
I feel like yesterday's games like that showed me. You know how I was able to win those games coming back. I started seeing it as an energy thing.
Yeah.
So I'm like, if I could rest a little bit while I play the defense, catch some breaths and stuff, you know, get my air flowing.
I was doing the same thing yesterday too.
You gotta like breathe a little bit, and then when you get the ball at the same time, it's like for me, like my shots were off, so like I had to drive it down most of the time. That takes a lot of energy.
It takes a lot of energy to play defense on too.
It takes a lot of energy, but on top of that, if I don't finish, if I get lazy the last second of the shot, I'm gonna miss the shot. So that all that energy was like a waste of energy. So it's like I gotta finish it too. So it's like I gotta put the energy to drive and then also the energy to finish the shot so I make it and it's worth it.
It's crazy. Like I feel like at least the way that I'm viewing basketball now, I never viewed it that way as a kid. Just because like as a kid, I feel like we almost had a reservoir of like unlimited energy.
Yo, for real.
Whereas like you don't even have to worry about energy. Like you could play all day and tomorrow play all day, the next day play all day. But now it's like I knew today I was gonna be some type of cook, and I am some type of cook right now. So I know like today is a good rest day. So it's interesting like you said, the conserving of energy. Like I remember when I finally would get on offense, like especially for the last games, I would stay dribbling like back and forth on the 3-point line. I'd walk around just to like catch my breath and shit like that, but also have you moving a little bit, because I knew like if it looked like I was about to do something, you put extra energy. So I'm like, that was my game of chess. I'm like, let him put some energy, let me recuperate a little bit, and let me see what I could do. But like you had all the energy for everything. That's why like at some point I had to figure out how I was gonna even score, and I didn't score that well for the last game because you stuck me to the outside and you stuck to me on like in the 3-point line where I couldn't even shoot from there because like I be making shots
Yeah,
from the
exactly.
3-point.
I'm like, nah, man, you won too many games like that with a shot from mad far.
Yeah, like I remember like the game that the game that I was it was like 9-2.
Yeah.
That game, like the way I got back was like consecutive twos.
Non-stop,
about 3 points.
non-stop.
Yeah, but nah, it was mad fun. I wanna continue on that vibe. But yeah, nah.
We gotta play some more.
Back to the point that we originally started with. I'm feeling really good. Like, yesterday was a great day for me. It was almost like, how would I say? I felt like I started getting some more clarity on certain things that, like, remember, like in the past few pick talks, I was telling you like, oh, like it feels like I'm kind of getting back into a balance and stuff like that. And right now, and I was just working through it, you know, getting back to a point where I feel balanced. Yesterday I had some clarity on what I can do to achieve that balance. And I was gonna mention it to you yesterday as a challenge, but I'll just let you know right now what one of the things was. Man, it's mad windy, it feels good though. But one of the things was that before leaving on vacation, I had like almost a schedule of the things that I had to do. And like I was also living my ideal day. I remember telling you about my ideal day.
Yeah.
So what my ideal day consisted of for a while was like having at least one thing that's physical each day. I love watching movies. I love watching videos on YouTube about certain things. So my ideal day, I haven't necessarily got back on that way, but I knew that these are things that help me feel good. Like I told you last episode, like basketball helps me feel good, riding bike and stuff like that helps me feel good. But then like actually putting it into practice and like making it a thing for every day to include the things, include these things that help me stay in flow. And that's how I feel like for a while all my days were in flow. And then after going on vacation, there was a vacation flow, but getting back is like, okay, what was I doing before? And I realized, oh, I have to start living my ideal day again and making it very intentional. You know what I mean? So yesterday I wrote down on my notes like, yo, write down what your ideal day is and start getting to that again. Because yesterday I felt mad good, and that's because yesterday I literally lived the ideal day without necessarily writing it down and planning it. You know what I mean? And I did all these things that are good for what I want to do, like when it comes to making music, coming up with ideas, playing basketball, hanging out with friends. We were there with a couple friends that we didn't even know that was gonna be there, that live in the building. So it was just, in general, it was a day that was full of flow that also helped me realize that, oh, this is how you stay in flow. You have to continue to put yourselves in the situations. Like for me, even telling you like, yo, like I'm gonna go play ball, but if you go play ball, for me it was like I was gonna be fine with staying home and working on my shit, but I knew like, hey, I know when we play ball, we always have a good time. We always get something from it. So I'm like, yo, if we could play ball together, get back on some type of vibe like that's knocking out 2-3 things from my ideal day. Whereas like spending time with my loved ones, getting some work in,
physical
and even then like just talking about like in between games or like we went back to your crib for like a few minutes, fucking just talking about certain things that's going on that could help. You know what I mean? So I know that keeps me flowing. So.
Gotcha.
That's a long-winded answer of like how I'm feeling, but I feel amazing, and I'm excited to continue to live my ideal day.
That's fire. Nah, it's good you told me about basketball, because I was like, you know, I was gonna hit the weights, but then I'm like, you know what, let me play some ball, because at the end of the day, that is physical activity, like cardio. It was a cardio that I hadn't done in a while, and besides that, it was good because it showed me that like all the stretching and stuff that I've been doing, that I've always talking about the episodes. All of that is actually working, because I told you I felt good. Like I didn't feel like too stiff or too. It was weird. Like I felt like I was really flowing. Like if I had played basketball like a couple weeks ago and stuff. Nice. So that felt great.
That's awesome. You see, for me, I'm still getting on my stretching vibe, and I'm feeling better and better with going through stretching. But also, I feel like my cardio is definitely above where it was before. But again, like with some time off and shit like that, you know, it dwindles a bit, but it's definitely more than when I first started playing ball this year. So I feel like that kind of gave me a good thing yesterday while playing ball, like almost like, I wouldn't say advantage, because it's not like I had an advantage over you, but more just like an advantage in myself where like, okay, my cardio is a little bit better than it was before, so I can still hang. But I noticed when we used to play earlier on this year, I was telling you like my speed was more then, because I had to deal with you and how you play. And you're very fast when you play.
Yeah.
So I had to get back to like being agile and having to deal with agility and stuff like that. So that was really cool, because it helped me focus on that. Like sometimes, you know, when you play certain people,
Yeah.
you get certain different things from them. So like, oh, this person is way taller and they have a bigger reach. So now I have to play where I'm keeping some type of distance, but I could get past them easily. Okay, now I'm playing with somebody that's smaller, but 100% faster. They may not have the same reach, but now I have to pick myself up in this area. So it's almost like adding some HP points to these certain things.
It's true, yeah.
So that's why, again, that's why I've really been enjoying playing it.
If you think about it, you're working on different type of muscles too, because different muscles, you know, like you said, like you're playing it differently. So it's like you're reaching out a little bit more. Maybe your arms are working out a little bit more for a taller person.
Yeah.
For a shorter person, your muscles down here and your legs, your calves, you're engaging these muscles really fast because it's like you got to move quick. You got to stay with it.
That might be why. Remember I told you after the first game that we played, I started feeling like my quad area, and I'm like, damn, I stretched too before coming. I'm like, I wonder what it was, but it might have just been like I was using it more because I had to get down lower to play with you. That's fucking crazy. You see, I didn't put that together yesterday, but I thought maybe I made a wrong step or whatever, but it's really like probably just working that part out more than usual. So
how were your feet? After like I finished playing, I noticed at night, I'm like, yo, my feet hurt, and I noticed it's because all the movement and you know.
I felt my feet while playing. I felt like the area,
right there,
like this area right
area
here, like it's almost like I had to. You know what? It's gonna be mad weird doing it on camera, but like before playing and after playing, I was going like that to each of my toes, cracking my toes, and really like stretching them out. That was before and after playing. Even today, and I feel like that helped a lot just to like ease some tension and shit like that.
That's fine.
But yeah, I definitely felt my feet in this area, and I'm not. You probably seen me a couple times during the game. I remember like having my foot out and just going like this a couple times while we were like in the middle, like. When I had to check up the ball, I had to do that a couple times, like just stretch out my feet, because I felt like, oh yeah, if this stays tight like that, I'm not gonna be able to move that good, because that's gonna hurt if I'm like trying to step on it and shit. But
it's so important. Before I went to play, I was actually stretching my legs a little bit, my feet. I was using the ball, the bottom of my foot, because I knew I'm like, you know, I gotta get some movement on my ankles, especially.
Wait, you said that was before?
Yeah, before I went to play, I'm like, let me just get some movement on my ankles, because that shit, you know, your ankles that's top priority. Like if you injure your ankle, that's not a good injury. That shit hurts.
Facts.
And then you're gonna be out for like a couple days limping and stuff.
Facts.
It happened to all of us, so.
Happened to me last year. It wasn't really my ankle, but it was like, I forgot what it was called, but I was doing research when it happened, but it was like this area right here for this one, and now it's stronger than ever. But
that's usually.
But it's through stretching too.
Yeah.
If you guys haven't noticed, we always start off with how you feeling, and from there we literally tap in, tell you guys how we feeling, and it goes into like what we've been doing, and it usually goes into wellness too.
You know, we'll be trying, like he said, trying to have the ideal date.
For me, that's like the most important thing to do right now, because I know that's gonna keep me in flow and that's gonna keep me in the right direction. You know what I mean? Because if I don't feel good about something, yo, our body, our heart, that's our compass.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, of course.
If we're doing something wrong, we're gonna know. And we know, oh yeah, don't do that. Like for example, like drinking.
Yeah.
Like for me, that always throws me off. That always throws me off. Like it's something about it. But like I told you, I was feeling more what's the word? Mucus. I told you yesterday I was feeling more mucusy, and that was because like I felt more mucus like sometimes when I breathe and like spitting out more and shit like that. And I never feel like that. And I know it's because you know, it was a dope time. Went to a barbecue. I had a few drinks, and it was just chill. It was a great time. But like it never necessarily does my body good. It never does me good. So like like
the next day after
it
that,
kind of throws you off.
The following day after that, after we had the barbecue and we hung out with friends and we had some drinks, I felt it, man. Like I told you, I had to take a nap, and like I think it was after I woke up from the nap, I was like, what? Like my whole body is like tingling. Like it's just like it aches. Everything aches. It wasn't just like one part. It was everything. But it could be that we also started like sledding down the front.
It was a lot of different things. But I tell you that I really don't think there's any type of nutrients inside of alcohol. I tell you that. So I don't know.
Nah.
But if anything, I feel like alcohol also kind of like makes you a little bit susceptible to, you know, lower vibrations. And I guess that's the easiest way to put it.
Yeah.
People fight off drinking. People do that. Like luckily,
they say it shows a person's true colors. You think that's true, or?
I think it shows them it shows the worst colors.
That's so true.
I can't say true color because that's to say that people are naturally fucking shitty people, which
is not true.
I don't think so. I think sometimes people become shitty through life circumstances.
That's true,
but like naturally, I just think we're all fucking babies that are running around smiling and just like having fun with anything. But at a certain point, you know, you get clouded with certain shit.
there's a lot of things that goes into the alcohol thing that you're saying.
Yeah.
Like it's, you know, that's why they call it wines and spirits and
Spirits.
stuff, and like a whole bunch of, man, there's a lot in that. But I think you're right, because it's like you said, like there's a lot of nice people and stuff that I've met, and when they drink, they get completely opposite. And there's also people that like us, like we flow, and it's like we continue to flow. I think I get friendlier, like you know.
Everybody's different with it. Like some people want to fight, some people want to, some people act a little weird, like
more overprotective.
Yeah,
a little bit of everything.
It switches up the vibe. It's like a vibe alter, and it really depends where your heart wants you to vibe, and that shit is like liquor is gonna influence the direction. I feel like. So there was something that was going viral. It was already like a couple weeks ago, 2-3 weeks ago. Something that's going viral that I figured I'll bring up as a topic right now, and I think you saw it. I think we might have spoke about it too, but it was this T-Pain comments about, you know, all the artists these days, about like them sounding the same or something like that. I wanted to ask you, like, what's your take on that? Like on what he's talking about.
That's interesting. I feel like there's a side of both of it. There's some truth to that, but it's also it all depends on the reality that you're living as a creative, as an artist, as a producer, engineer. Because I know there's a lot of different type of music emerging, especially with like how accessible it is to make music, and like how accessible the internet is, and Spotify and all those things. There's music from all over the world coming out. So I feel like that all depends where you're placing your ears at. You get what I'm saying? But to you know, to the honesty of it, like the other side of it, the truth of it is like you do see that a lot in the industry that we, you know, that's more popular now, which is, you know, the urban industry, the, you know, hip hop, rap, and all that stuff. So it's like you see that more there, where like a lot of artists are trying to sound the same, and it's like maybe it is because what's up there now, whoever's at the top, whoever's making the type of money, they sound a type of way, and they just trying to get there because they know that that's a way to climb up the ladder. They don't want to do the work where it's like to, you know, really see, like, you know, really evolve as an artist, really take the time to learn musically what is this, rhythm, lyrics, just how melodies, just how you take the time to get a little bit of everything and just, you know, mold it into a different type of artist, where like, you know, when you start off, sometimes you're imitating off of other artists, which is fine. And you can still continue to do that as you grow, but it's like at one point you got to branch into your own part, like your own artists and stuff. And I feel like that's where people are not they're not doing the homework and due diligence to get to that level. And that's where people might be like, yo, everything's sounding the same. But I don't know, I think there's both sides of it. There's two sides of it. But again, it's like, what reality are you living? What about you? What do you think about that?
It was, I remember I first saw it and I didn't think nothing of it. I'm just like, whatever. Like, you know, every generation there's somebody that just like, there's that grumpy old person. But that has their, you know, that has their reasons, because like you said, like there's, it depends how you look at it. You know what I mean? Yeah. So for me, the way I looked at it, like I didn't care. Like he was making like for me, he was making a scene almost. Like he's like, I'm so tired. Like, and that's probably what helped it go viral too, because he was bugging out, which is cool. And that's kind of like the lane that he's in now too, because I think he's doing like a Twitch or a podcast or whatever type of thing, which is like, that seems to be like the big thing in Twitch. Like it's like to like big reactions, and like, you get people laughing, you have a good time and stuff like that. But for me, I don't feel like it was such a big deal, because how I look at it, especially for myself, is if anything, that just makes shit easier. Like T-Pain, if you have such an issue with everything sounding the same, then make a song, put out a song, and have it cut through, and have it be something different. Like, there's no reason to be complaining about it. Take advantage of it, because if everything's the same, then if you're doing something different, isn't that gonna pop out? Isn't that gonna poke out and like catapult you to where you need to be? So for me, it was more like something that didn't even need to be said. Like, what was the point? You get what I'm saying?
What if he said it for that reason, to actually, he said it for a thing to like push the industry to like another direction, and push the industry and push artists like yourself that is like tapping into like a whole different kind of like atmosphere of music and stuff. What if he said it for that reason? Because he knows that is going to motivate people like to like, you know, push it to the next level.
I'm sure that was definitely part of it. That's probably,
because I feel like he did that when it was his turn, like with the music. he took it. You know, although people will say like, oh, there's another interview of him saying how like you saw the one where Usher talked to him like about music, what he did with music.
No.
Something along the lines that Usher told him like a long time ago, like, yo, like, you know, you mess up music for a lot of us singers, and like. For him, I think he used to look up to Usher at that point, but then after that, he's like, damn, like that really hurt him because it's like, you know, that wasn't his intention because of auto-tune and all that stuff. But again, it's like, you can't argue against it that he set his own way for something that was, you know, became popular and became like the industry thing. And
it's what Usher's probably talking about is what ended up happening, like the effects of what T-Pain did. It wasn't necessarily what T-Pain did, but the effects of it, like getting artists. Now that they're like, at first there was a period of time where they were only using auto-tune and just like making noises on the song and so and even getting popping off that, you know what I mean? So that might be part of that, you know what I mean?
But it's also a trend that you see a lot in the music industry because DJ Nelson, he posted about that once, how like back in the I think late 90s, no, not late 90s, like early 90s. When they started introducing samplers like the synths and stuff. I don't think synths, but like samplers that sound like instruments, but it was a piano, or it might be the synth, whatever it was. But they started introducing that to the music. People were like, nah, that's gonna mess up the music. That's not real. This and that. Dance music came from the 90s and all that, disco music. So it's like, because of those things, like every time something like that happens, somebody's gonna critique it. But eventually, as people start to work with it, there's gonna be new lanes of music and new inspirations and just new stuff, opportunities for people to work with. The same thing that T-Pain did with the auto-tune situation, and the same thing, he's going back again and he's saying he's doing the same thing that was done to him when Usher did to him, like, oh, you changed the way shit works now with like introducing that auto-tune shit. He might be saying the same thing, like, yo, everything's sounding the same. He might be pushing the envelope to another level for artists like yourself, and other artists are like really looking to be individuals.
Yeah, but I just feel like saying it, for me personally, like saying it is not gonna do much. At the end of the day, it's up to the artist what they want to do. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it might be like a little push of inspiration, like, oh, damn, you're right. Like, damn, I do kind of sound like. But how many people are gonna self-audit themselves and be like, yo, damn, I kind of do sound like this person, or sound like people like living in their world of like lies or whatever. But again, like, for me, I almost took it as like, yo, T-Pain, chill, because again, the real will always flow to the top. Like, you know what I mean?
For real, yeah.
So that was all I felt about it, but it did feel like something like, oh yeah, this is a lot. This is like a viral clip, but
yeah, because I feel like it's the same thing with producing. Like, you hear everybody say, oh, everybody's using the same loops, everybody's using Sam. And it's like, yeah, like you could go into that. Like I've been making beats the old-fashioned way for years, and it's like, but I'm also open to trying the new stuff. If I'm paying for a service $10 a month to use samples, dope samples, and use samples that like live musicians play and are getting paid for that, and I'm paying for the service, why the fuck wouldn't I use the service to make some of my beats too? Like, you get what I'm saying? It's like, why not? It's making new jobs, people are making money off of it, so it's still helping somebody. It's not like it's hurting anybody, you know? I don't know how that went into that.
But not like not. I guess what I get from what you're saying is that everything is useful.
Yeah, everything's useful, and it's like, and people are always gonna talk, like, you know.
For me, what I mean by everything is useful is also like, we need the people who are all sounding the same.
Yeah.
Like I said earlier, so that we could realize what's different. You know what I mean? Because if everything was different, then nothing's different. Everything's the same. You get what I'm saying? And I don't know if y'all caught that, but like,
that's the.
You need it's like the yin and the yang. You need the dark times to grow. You need the light to grow. You need all that to grow. You know what I mean? So,
that's true. There's two sides of the coin.
But yeah, I wanted to bring up that topic just because I felt like it was something that I wanted to have a conversation about. And I don't know how many people are having that conversation in that way. Because like for me, I look at it as like some people either agree or disagree. There's no like in between. Like for me, like I don't agree or I don't care.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I feel like that's usually how I feel when people say the things about producing, like using certain, like, I don't care. Like, I still have to.
Yeah.
I have to attend to this. This is a business that I have, so it's like, you know.
It's everybody got their path. Everybody's useful in their own way. Even if you feel like, oh, he's just a copy of this person, that person is useful for something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So. But yeah, that's just me being on some ultra like fucking zen, like everything fits with each other type vibe. But that's normally how I am. And sometimes when I notice I'm not being like that, that's when I realize, okay, maybe I need to change my mind about something. So I be fluid with it.
Like, if you don't get a reaction to something like that?
If I do get a reaction, then I'll have to think about like why, but I usually don't. Like,
okay.
Especially with stuff like that. And that's also why I don't be so super into social media, because I feel like there's always a topic that pops up and that everybody's talking about.
Yeah.
I never be like including myself in that, because like, yo, how much does this matter right now? Like, it's something to talk about to distract you from like what you got.
It's a new thing every day, every hour, It's crazy, man, because, you know, like, looking back a few years ago, like, I don't watch news. I don't watch the news. So, like, I stopped doing that, like, a long time ago. Like, I think since I moved into my own, like, you know, I have my own room and stuff like that, like, I stopped watching the news because I'm like, this shit is bullshit. Like,
I haven't watched the news since I was like a teenager.
Yeah, so then imagine that, and then slowly the news has transitioned into what we see today on our phones. Because before, IG was not, before that shit was monetized and all that, it was all just friends posting dumb, silly photos.
Pictures.
And before, we didn't even have videos before. But now it's like, they found a way to spoon feed us all of the shit that we still don't want to see, and then people, you know, reposting stuff, and it's like, damn, like, I feel like this became that one thing that, like, we used to escape back then. Now it became that thing that we were escaping from.
Yeah, man, that's interesting.
And it's like, wow, and there's so many different ones, but they all give you the same Twitter, IG.
Yo, even back to that shit is also making us nicer at realizing what's the bullshit and what's not. Because we're fucking constantly fed it. Like, literally, it's called the feed. We're constantly fed that shit. You know what I mean?
That's so true, bro.
So it's like, you either fall for everything, or you take a look at everything like, what is this to me? What is it worth? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a lot, man. Like, sometimes you get on and you see people posting this, posting that, and it's like, this is the new thing, and it's like, wow, if you get into that, man, like, you'll be consumed by it all, like, because you're like, oh shit, I should feel bad for this because this person is sharing this cause. Oh, this is happening. I have to educate myself on this to see why this person feels like. And it's like, wow, like, since when did we have to do all of that? Like, why don't we go back to, like, just focusing on you, like, as an individual, like, focus on whatever you got to do in your personal life, make sure that you good with your family, your job, your business, whatever, and then, like, if you go into social media, just use it for, like, what it was, which was, like, entertainment.
But in a way, it even is a positive thing that we're seeing, like, news that isn't important.
Oh, of course, yeah. More information.
Even if there's nothing that we can necessarily do right now to fix it, it is also some type of motivation, as fucked up as it sounds, but it's almost like motivation to, like, a goal for yourself to, like, you know, how can I be useful to this?
Yeah.
And what can I do to help people? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So in a way, like, seeing fucked up shit, even if you don't know the cause of it, it may make you look it up, and it may make you think, like, how. Oh, for example, what Charlie posted yesterday on Dykeman Diary.
Dykeman Diary. Yeah, shout out Charlie.
Like, shit, like, if you're not from there, even if you're just from down the, like, from the heights or from wherever, and you're not from there, you're not necessarily seeing what's going on, like, or hearing about it through, like, first person and stuff, chances are you're not gonna know about it. So social media, in that case, like, to spread awareness, like, what's going on in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
And in that case, it was, like, some violence that's going on. It kind of, for me, when I saw that, like, we were watching it yesterday together, when I saw it, I'm like, yo, this is great work from Charlie, like, spreading this awareness.
Amazing, yeah.
And also, like, hopefully this is, like, something that can motivate the people from the neighborhood to, like, yo, you know what? Yeah, maybe I should throw hands instead of shooting, or like, this is not worth it. Like, and maybe start realizing why it's not worth it. So if anything, certain content is good to start a spark. Even if it doesn't necessarily make the change, it's good to start a spark.
Yeah, yeah. I mean? But notice where that content came from. It came from somebody that's like, we know Charlie, and it's like, it's not a corporation behind it. It's not a,
exactly.
There's no,
it had to be the real, bringing the real.
Exactly, bro. Like, that's, I feel like that's important too. Like, we gotta see the sources. Where are the sources coming from? Like, are we getting this from where lions are, or are we getting this from, like, somebody that we know personally, and is actually has an interest in how the community goes, like, you know, in the future, towards where the community is going.
Who still lives in the community, who cares about the community.
Does it for free. Like, he's not getting paid for this shit, bro. Like, nobody's getting paid for these things. We're not getting paid for this podcast, bro. Like, we're just sharing stuff, and it's like, we feel like some of our friends are resonated with it, like they like it, and it's like we're gonna continue to do it as as we can. But these things that you do, like these things that you do, just I don't know, to make the world a better place, I guess. Just how Charlie's putting in work. But yeah, it goes back to that. Like, so where do you get the content from? You just gotta make sure you audit where you're getting that feed from. Before you even get a reaction, before you start getting those reactions.
You are what you eat.
That's
same
true.
Shit. I'm just throwing out random quotes. But yeah.
What you got? What else you got, man?
I got hair in my mouth.
Hey.
But no, I think this is a good time. I think we covered some good topics. I think this is a good time to ask the world famous question.
Yeah.
How we always end it. How you feel right now, where you are right now, what you see around you. What do you feel like is a piece of advice that somebody watching this right now needs to hear?
That's a lot, man. That's like 6 questions in one.
Yeah. Type vibe, man. That's life.
How I feel?
Hold on. It's a very general question, but it's something that I feel like almost forces you to.
I already forgot the questions.
No, it was one question. It was a one general question, but that question, I feel like it's such a broad thing, but it's up to you to almost filter out what it is that you feel like people need to hear right now at this moment. You know what I mean? That's why I feel like it's an important question, because last week's answer may be similar, but it's gonna be something different because how you feel now from what you see and how you feel. So I'll restate the question. From how you're feeling now, from what you're seeing, from the people that you're surrounded by, from just like how you feel.
I feel good,
what
man.
Piece of advice? What piece of advice would you give them?
I feel great. I feel like, there's a lot of stuff happening around the world and my life, but mostly around the world. Like, there's a lot of good things happening right now. Like, like you said, like the age of information and how everything's being pushed. It is also, waking a lot of people up to a lot of things. And whether it's starting a business or just taking care of yourself, or like, mental health awareness, just stuff like that is important. A lot of that's happening right now, so that's great. But besides that, I feel like I've been flowing, man. I've been good. This week's been great. I got a little bit more active, more physical, and continuing with the goals and just getting shit done. But yeah, everything's been good.
So what advice would you give them from how you feeling?
To order yourself, just like check what's up with you, like check what you've been up to, check if you're consuming the right content, if you're eating the right stuff, you're drinking enough water, if you're going outside enough, you're getting vitamin D, the sun, or pills. You could do the pills as well. But just make sure you're grounding, you're going out, reaching out to family, friends. Summer's we midway into summer, bro. August starts like tomorrow, right?
We 2/3. Low key.
We midway, at least in New York, like we midway in the summer, so like, go out there. Like I'm not the type of person that doesn't really enjoy the New York City summers as much as we discussed in the last episode. But make an effort to go out and just like, even if it's for a walk, just go out of your apartment, your crib, your house, and do something a little bit different, and just enjoy your life, enjoy your summer days, good vacation, good little nice weather. How about you? What you got?
I'm gonna agree with that. I'm gonna build on that. My piece of advice would be to find your flow, and focus on the things that make you feel good and that keep you on the flow throughout the whole day. Fuck just being in flow for an hour, 2 hours.
Yeah.
For what? Do it the whole day. What keeps you in flow, and figure out how to continue to make every single thing flow. Like I told y'all earlier in this episode, like for me this past couple weeks has almost been like me filtering shit out, trying new things, or whatever it may be, while trying to figure out my flow. Figure out remember what it is that kept me in flow, 3 weeks ago, a month ago, and continue to add those into my life and not get in my own way of like, oh, maybe I won't do this one because I want to do this. Like we also mentioned that in another episode, but like, so yourself could be your own worst enemy if you're not allowing yourself. So just allow yourself to find that flow, and when you're in that flow, enjoy it, and if the flow is for your whole life, enjoy your whole life. Enjoy your whole life, flow with your whole life. Like, it could be two separate things, it could be the same thing, but like, I feel like when you're enjoying things, you're also in flow. So, enjoy yourself, find your flow, and yeah, like you said, enjoy your summer.
When you're in flow, man, like that shit is great because all the fears and stuff, like all that thing back in your head, you don't gotta worry about that. You're more present, so like just.
It's a fact. You know. It's like that thing you posted on Instagram yesterday, which I've seen already a couple times, where it's like it had the past, future, and the present in the middle, and it was like a small present, too big, the past and the future was big.
We should post
and then the
it on
other
this.
one, and then the other one was the present huge, and the other parts were like insignificant. So that was a big reminder in like just focus on the task at hand, focus on what you're doing right now, and you're gonna continue to be like continuing to follow that flow, you know, that flow of the moment, because it's the moments that show you what you need to do and where you need to be.
Yeah.
And on that note, the wind is trying to kick us out.
Yo, bro, that was a little nut that fell on my hand. I was like, what? Hey, yo. That was dope.
All right, man. Big Talk, episode 13, my brother.
Good
Great
stuff,
talk.
Flacco.
I'll
Talk
see
to y'all
y'all.
later.
Love y'all.
The next one.